Okay, so next up with our pinch pot, we're going to add texture and attachments as well as use our stamp to label the pinch pot. So I have my stamp here. You can stamp somewhere near the bottom or on the bottom if you'd like, but I'm just gonna hold the inside and press with the stamp so that it's labeled. Okay, as far as texture and attachments go, you can figure out which order you want to put them on. You might do texture first in some cases, you might do your attachment first. It all just kind of depends on your design. We have rubber stamps that connect to a handle that you can use. We have lots of these. And we also have things like shells that you can use to press in texture. You could use jewelry, you can use fabric, you can use string to press into the side of it. So decide what you'd like to use before you start adding it. Attachments, you can make a handle for your pottery. You can make 2 handles. You could make something that's called a foot that you put on the bottom to make your pottery raised up. What I did with my clay is I rolled a slab like we did when we made a tile, and I decided to cut a leaf-like shape from the slab, and I'm going to kind of smooth the edges of the leaf first because leaves don't really have that thickness that clay does to it. They don't have real flat sides, so I'm just kind of rounding it to make it look a little more natural. And one thing that I could do too, because leaves have veins in them, is I could attach like skinny coils by scoring and slipping. But I think what I'm going to do is add those veins when I glaze the pinch pot. So my leaf is even in thickness, and it's the same thickness as the pot, which will help it to be a strong piece of pottery so that it doesn't dry unevenly. So your attachment should be relatively the same thickness, whether you're going to attach coils or slab pieces or you're going to sculpt your own attachments. So I'm thinking of giving my pinch pot this attachment and kind of like rolling the leaf so it doesn't lay just flat on the side, but it sticks up. It's just a little more interesting looking. And of course, I'll need to score and slip any attachment that goes on. And this serrated scraper is wonderful for that. So make sure you crisscross your lines and apply some slip. Don't use too much slip, but make sure it's a good layer of mud-like slip on there. And then as I attach, I need to make sure that I'm sort of pressing the 2 pieces together. Now I'm not squishing it really hard, but I'm making sure that it's going to stay on there. So you can see the slip peeking out there. What I'm going to do is take a paintbrush now, and I'm going to smooth along the seam to make sure that it's really, really attached well. So your attachments for this assignment should be secured, not falling off, not breaking off, not cracking. And you can see I kind of overdid the slip lines on the back. Whoops. I mean the score lines. But I could just smooth that out with a brush or a sponge. Now, if you have a hard time with, still going to need to smooth that out more. If you have a hard time with your attachments staying in the position that you want them to be in, so let's say this clay was would be too soft and it's kind of like flopping over and not staying in position. You can position the clay how you would like it and then use a hair dryer to speed up the drying to a more leather hard stage, and then you can make it stay that way. So make sure that you kind of have a plan before you go at it. Perhaps I'll put some stamping on the side here. Make sure to press your texture in. If you need to practice beforehand with the stamp, you can get a piece of clay. I just have a slab right here, so you can practice. You might have to press a little harder on your clay pot because the clay is leather hard. That slab was a little bit softer. Okay, so this is what stage you're in, texture and attachments. Make sure you score and slip so that your attachments do not break apart.